Welcome to another set of the Bulldogs. And, we don't play the full intro of the highlights anymore, but it always cracks me up listening to the Kelvin McKnight call because the announcer's so surprised that Samford scored a touchdown on Florida State that night. But we are here. Football season is upon us, boys. Samford kicks off against North Alabama this week. Grant and Jeb, how are we feeling?
Today was this last weekend without football, so feeling pretty good. I don't know about you.
It's awesome. Jeb?
Yeah, feeling the spirit here, and hopefully the weather will start changing, then we'll actually start feeling it.
Well, the leaves are already turning in my yard, but that's mainly because of a lack of rain, not because of the, changing of the weather. But, yeah, guys, it's kind of crazy that the season's already here, end of August, kicking off week 0 against North Alabama in Huntsville on the road. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, the Samford just hosted their media day last week. Grant, you were able to attend, talk to a few players, talk to Coach Grouse. How was it? What did we learn?
Well, I learned I need to work on punting and kicking because those are not my strong suits when it came to the punt pass.
Did you get last?
No, I did not get last.
Okay, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. I really the only thing is as long as you don't embarrass yourself, you're perfectly fine. I think my longest pass was like 38 yards, 37. Like some reason I hovered around 37.
Bad.
We need to put you through a training program between now and next year so that next year
we can win.
Yeah. For the pod.
Yeah.
So what was your punt, Grant?
Punt was about 35. I think you get 3 chances punt, pass, kick. My punt was like 35. And you get the roll too, which is like I couldn't.
That's poor. That's poor.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, too much backspin. I gotta work on getting a move forward rather than come back. So
he's no Harrison Bucker.
Certainly not. But okay, outside of
69-yarder last night, by the way. That's why I'm.
Dude, what is the new? I mean, are we going to see a day where you don't even have to gain a yard on offense? Like, are we going to see a day
kicking field goals in the NFL? Like, back and
I mean,
forth
that's crazy. Like, it was crazy when it was a 50-yarder, and
from the 3-yard line.
Right. Like, I remember who was it that kicked it was like a 54-yarder, a 56-yarder. Like, that was crazy. Now everybody can kick a 55 or a 60. Sounds like 69, 70, 71. Maybe that's the new crazy. Anyway, Grant, Samford football. How are the players? How's coach?
It was good. It's weird having something, obviously we talked about in the past, something brand new, right? We're going to brand new coaches, someone new players, everything. So trying to get a sense of what things are going to look like. You really obviously won't know until we start playing games. There's only so much scrimmages and practices you can see, but it's good just kind of getting to talk to coach a little bit about, hey, this is what we're looking on. We're not looking towards last year. We weren't even here last year. Like, this staff wasn't here. We don't need to worry about 1-11. We haven't even talked about, like, someone asked him if he talked to the players about last year. He said, no, we really need to move on and kind of look forward. We all know how bad it was last year. The players know, the offensive line definitely knows how bad they were last year. Even though Watts talked about that, we talked to him a little bit. He's like, yeah, we knew how bad we were last year. We need to improve on this and that going forward. So yeah, it's weird trying to get a sense of how they could look, but there's a lot of optimism when it comes to the work they've done in the weight room, specifically with Jake Venables over there. I forgot who called him that, but one of the players called him a madman, but in the nicest way possible.
I like it. I like it.
He cares about your players. If you know anything about Venables and that last name, you know that can get pretty intense. So that's kind of on brand there. So so Grass did talk about how much they've grown in the weight room. We'll see how that translates on the field.
That's good. I mean, the offense line obviously had the most room to improve. So that's not too surprising, but Good to hear that there's some new juice on the off-season workouts. To be fair, summer's not really when you make your gains. Winter's when you make your gains. So these guys are just kind of getting in the program state of mind as opposed to probably true improvement. But stepping stones. We're able to talk about the quarterback battle at all.
Yeah, I asked him over SoCon Media Days. I mentioned that it's a 3-person race between 3 guys. I asked him if that was still the case. He said, yeah, that's still the case, but there is a freshman, kind of Will Shields, a freshman from Virginia, kind of pushing them a little bit. But yeah, it is still kind of a 3-guy race between Charlie Gilliam, who was here last year. He played a little bit last year. Of course, Samford played 3 or 4 guys back there at Signal Caller. You've got Jabari Johnson, the transfer from Oregon State, who came in over the spring. He was hurt in the spring, but he did he did have a full summer. And then Coulter Cleveland came in from Davidson, a guy who's started 23 games in his career. So yeah, we're still working through the quarterback battle. Still don't know who it is. He hasn't ruled out playing two guys, but obviously wouldn't want to do that. You want to have one signature guy. So we'll see if we find out before kickoff who it is, if we see who runs it on the field.
Yeah, it was interesting at the scrimmage that we watched, Grant, a couple of weeks ago. We were able to see each quarterback, and just from what we saw, it was tough to say which one you would roll with because each one had their own strengths and weaknesses. Cleveland obviously showed the most experience, had some nice touch in high pressure moments, looked like he operated well, but lacked the physical traits that Johnson clearly showed. But Johnson threw 2 picks while we were watching him. And then Gilliam looked pretty good. He kind of looked in between Johnson and Cleveland, I would say. So now I feel like I agree. Coach Gross had said that he would be comfortable with any of those 3 guys rolling out there. I think we could win some games with any of those 3. You want to see Johnson, who has the highest ceiling, potentially be the one to eventually take the reins if we're going to win more than 3 or 4 games. But knowing that this is a rebuild year, it's not bad hearing that we have a freshman who's kind of ruffling or shaking his way into the competition a little bit. So who knows? Maybe by the end of the season, Shields will be our starting quarterback. Who knows?
Yeah, we saw Johnson throw one deep ball to Marquise Henderson down the sideline. I was like, ooh, we haven't had a guy that does.
That was the best play of the scrimmage.
Yeah, that was. So we're drunk off that one play, basically. But no, it's interesting. They all bring a little bit different things to the table. Gilliam's probably the least mobile of the 3. Jabari is obviously the most mobile of the 3 guys. He started a handful of games at Oregon State after transferring in from Missouri to Oregon State. Cleveland, like you said, maybe lacks the kind of explosive traits, but just has a good, solid quarterback who, again, played a lot of ball. So, I mean, they can go any 3 ways. We don't know how much we want to take stock of what Gilliam showed last year behind that line. Just had no there's not a whole ton you could take from that. So again, you kind of throw that out the window with the new staff, new coaching, Paul Tyson, quarterback coach, and see where they go from here.
Do we think a mobile quarterback or more of like a pocket guy is fit for Gross's system?
Yeah, Gross has had kind of more mobile guys in the past. He said he's played with a lot of different guys as skill sets of those 3 guys, but yeah, I think a more mobile guy would be something that would kind of fit his system a little bit more. Gross was the OC, as we talked about, under Bill Clark for 1 year before Bill Clark became the coach at UAB. It was Gross's offense, and so Gross is kind of the play caller, kind of the head man there. So yeah, I think maybe more mobile, but again, if that's not what the guys around him can kind of play with, you kind of just got to go with what fits the offense better right now, as opposed to 2014, 2015 when Gross was coaching.
That's interesting. So maybe Johnson, especially because if it is a toss-up, I guess you do go with, and we don't know if it truly is a toss-up, but on paper it looks like a toss-up. Probably amongst 2 of those 3, it's probably not a true 3-way race by this point. But that's what I'm most looking forward to on Saturday, to see who we have starting out there. On the offensive line, I wrote down so much at that scrimmage, Grant, but for the most part, it's a lot of familiar faces that we're going to see. Maybe sprinkling in a few new guys. But one thing that I did enjoy was they had a lot of freshmen on freshmen, sophomores on freshmen, sophomores. And the future looks bright because, Jeb, I remember you asking if size was a problem on the offensive line. And when they stuck the freshmen out there was like no discernible difference in size on the offensive line and defensive line. So nice that we have some young foundation for this staff to mold, but hard to say how much more improved the offensive line is going to be from last year, considering it is a lot of the same personnel. You do have the fact that it's a new coach, which helps. You do have the fact that there's new energy, which helps. And then you have new playmakers. So Henderson coming in, sprinkling it in with returner Preston Bird, and then depending on who's quarterback. And then Grant, who's the running back that we
spoke? I can't remember who we saw in the scrimmage. Maybe it was Cherry, but we spoke to Dominic.
Yeah,
Thomas,
we saw Cherry.
Yeah, Cherry. We spoke to Thomas at Media Day. Transferred in from Ole Miss, started his career at Clemson, went to JUCO, went to Ole Miss, and now has found his way back with Gross's staff, grad transfer, running back there. So yeah, we'll see how it.
Now that's a fourth school stop I can get behind.
Yeah. So, and you talked about the line. It was, I'm confident they have better coaching, like you said. It's just a like how vastly can they improve from, I guess there's nowhere else to go but up, right? But it's like, how much can you really improve if it is the same players and new coaching that you have had all since January? So again, you just have to see it before you can make any real kind of suggestions on what you think they should do going forward.
What do you say about the defense?
We didn't actually. It's one of the things I was mistaken by not talking a lot about. We didn't talk a lot about the defense. We only talked to a couple defensive ends, defensive lineman. Jackson Busty was here last year. John Scott III, a DN from Fordham, who's been a productive player. So we didn't really talk about the defense as much, and we didn't get to talk to Hank Weber too, and we didn't get to talk to Coach Kahn, Samford's defensive coordinator, either. So I kind of wish he was there. So yeah, I was wondering why. Actually, now you bring that up, I forgot to ask why Mickey Kahn, Coach Kahn, wasn't there. It would have been nice to talk to him a little bit, as we have done coordinators in the past. But yeah, I forgot to bring that up.
Because the defense, I mean, caveat always on a scrimmage. We know that our offense is the weaker unit between the two. But the defense did look pretty good, especially the linebacking core, some of the secondary. I know I'd written down the safety from Tuskegee. Noah Holton looked pretty nice. And then Spencer Kahn, Coach Kahn's son, playing linebacker, made some really nice plays. And the D-line all looked good. Helps that we're returning like 3 or 4 consistent starters from last season on the D-line. But that is interesting that the D coordinator wasn't at the media day.
Yeah, that something to bring up. Then you go to the cornerback room. It's a whole new cornerback room there too. It transferred in all those transfers, some good young pieces, and there Elijah McDowell comes over from Georgia Southern, 6'3", 190 corner. Vaughn Mitch comes 5'9", 165, comes over from Clark Atlanta. So those are 2 transfers you added there. So again, we'll just see how the corners look, and then again, you do have a lot of safeties returning with Jalen Nelson, LaShawn Young, Trey Linhart, all 3 coming back from last year. So at least safety, you kind of feel good about. It's, again, which we've seen in the past. Samford has either have really good corners or really not, and it's like there hasn't been a good middle. It's like, oh, this guy's
it has been
good.
Feast or famine.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what we've talked about again in the years leading up to this. Portaling all those guys that worked one year, did the next. So again, it's just what kind of balance can this cornerback room have?
Yeah. That'll be interesting. That's why it was nice to see that Noah Holton was making a few plays, because he is playing safety. But I think on a few he had come all the way up. So should be a fun, aggressive defense. And again, you have a fairly experienced / young offensive line, because I wrote down that Bussey and Weber both looked pretty good, and they're returners, young guys. So excited for the D-line and a few of the linebackers and secondary pieces. That should be the most consistent unit
this year.
Yeah. And Jeb, he made a few plays in the scrimmage. Again, that was a couple of weeks ago, but it was good to just see that he was making some plays. Brought a lot of energy too.
Yeah, again, you said it a bunch, dude. Just energy. We talked about it last week. Just the energy, just the whole brand new. We're gonna actually do workouts twice a day. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna build this quote culture that everybody talks about. So yeah, energy is kind of the main focus. We'll see how that translates, obviously. But again, it's good to have something new. You mentioned Marquise Henderson, who outside of Preston Bird is going to kind of step up. Henderson was a Clemson commit, got dismissed from Clemson, spent some time in the wind, but now is at Samford with his staff, who outside of Preston Bird kind of steps up in that pass catcher core.
That was another thing that stuck out. I forgot to mention. So Bird and Henderson, yes, they looked like the flashy playmakers. But it also looks like we have some big-bodied receivers. They stuck a few tight ends out wide, like to the boundary, which was interesting. That might be something, especially as we look to kind of just control the pace of play and then occasionally explode over the top. Might be some more possession-oriented receivers out there, because that is one thing you can take advantage of in the SoCon is smaller DBs. So that's something to look for. When we get to North Alabama, it's going to be a little bit of Spider-Man action. So certainly something to be watching in that game, how our other receivers play outside of the 2 primary playmakers. But Jeb, anything else before we get to the SoCon?
Nope.
Okay. So the SoCon preseason poll, only 3 teams received first place votes, predominantly favoring Mercer, who received 6 and finished first in the poll. But Mercer, Tennessee Tech, ETSU, received the first place votes, and that was your top three. Samford came in 8th, only above the Citadel and VMI, Mercer, Tennessee Tech, ETSU, Western Carolina, UTC, Furman, Wofford, Samford, Citadel, VMI. Overall thoughts on the poll, to me, it felt about right. You got to earn your way back to the top. But anything stick out?
I'm just thankful for military schools.
No, I mean, it's not surprising to me. You know, how fresh everything is. This is a reset for us. And I like what you said, Sam. We got to work our way back up. Tennessee Tech being the new addition to the conference is kind of exciting for me. But to see them at 2 already, and the conference just kind of giving them that, might be a little bit of a bias there, just because it's the new exciting team in the conference. But there could be some merit to it as well in terms of their
for what they taketh in football, they giveth in basketball. So we're excited to have them on the football end, but should be an easy dub in basketball, although we haven't actually looked at that roster, but historically. But yeah, I agree, Jeb. Tennessee, like the new kid on the block, ranked 2nd. They had a very good season last year. They are a good program, but a little surprised to see them edging out ETSU or even Western, which, by the way, guys, did y'all see Western's field, like the final renovation? It's sweet. It is sweet. Anyway, yeah, no real surprises. I think the surprise would be if one of the bottom 4 teams ended up winning the conference: Wofford, Samford, Citadel, and VMI. I think we're battling for first in the bottom quadrant, and if we can finish 5th or 6th, I think that'd be a highly successful season. Even finishing 7th, I think would be pretty good.
I was going to ask what would make you feel, I guess better. What placing you said 5th or
just I think re-solidifying. Like resetting your floor, and re-solidifying yourself in the middle of the pack so you can keep climbing. We don't have the. I mean, I say this. You really do never know especially in FCS football in the transfer portal era. But from where I sit right now, we don't have the team to win or get 2nd and possibly an at-large bid to the playoff. But I think we have a team that could be feisty, maybe pull an upset or 2, and finish middle of the pack. But you really just want to see improvement, right? You just want to see incremental improvement. You want to see guys playing hard. You want to see less blowouts. Anytime a program's rebuilding, close games are a sign of things improving, unless you're Nebraska, in which case it's just a sign that you're still in purgatory.
Close game.
But for the most part, if you're a normal program, it's signs of good things. So that's what I'm looking for. What about you guys?
Yeah, we've touched on it, kind of improvement there too. And for anybody wondering, it's like this won't be Samford's best roster on DeGrasse. Like they got in, you have to navigate the portal.
Better not be.
Exactly. Samford is already a young roster last year, beginning with after Hatcher said, "Oh yeah, let's actually go to freshmen instead, just bringing a different portal class every year." So yeah, this definitely won't be Samford's better roster, but I do again confident, better coaches all around. That the projection of Samford in maybe 3 to 4 years is maybe back at the top to where it could be.
Yeah, Joe, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for us to finish middle pack. I don't think with this coaching staff as new as it is, and with the reboot here, that we should be in the camp of VMI and the bottom tier of the conference here.
Essentially tied with Citadel.
Tied with Citadel. Although Citadel has always been a dark horse, right?
Yes.
They kind of are under, an underdog, and they're, not really paid attention to, and then they do something, right? And then that's every year. The media has shown that they do that. And so I kind of take it with a grain of salt there.
Fair.
But I'd see us 5, 6.
Yeah.
If we finished 5th, that would be awesome.
Yeah. I mean, if we finish 4th,
if we finished 4th, re-sign Gross for 10 years. I mean, my goodness, he's working with not a lot. Well,
like you
I
said,
should say he's working with a group of players that the previous staff could not extract anything from. There's got to be potential there. There's got to be.
It's a quick turnaround too with the new coach and getting his program going. So it's it's expected. There's a grace period here.
For sure. I would say more of a grace period than basketball. I mean, it's a whole lot easier following even a guy like Hatcher, who brought us to some pretty nice highs, most successful season in school history, in fact. Easier following a 1-win season than what Acuff had to do following Bucky. And we still were giving Acuff grace, and we still give him grace this year. So I'm just excited to see a team fight, because that was the biggest takeaway that we agreed on. Was there was just way more energy, way more fight, way more playing hard. Couple extracurriculars, which is always good to see. Maybe not to the extent that the TCU safety took it this past weekend, but
the youth of this coaching staff has to play into that.
I agree, has to. Yes, I mean they are literally full of youthful energy. I mean, literally. I think who is it? Who our wide receivers coach? One of this is Drew Sweeney. Yeah. He's 24.
Yeah, he's 24, 25. Callie Chiswick's 25, about the same. Tyler Venables just graduated. He's 23. So
I mean, that's crazy. Yeah. Awesome opportunity for those guys, though. It could completely fail. They could be terrible coaches. I guess you really never know. I'd be shocked if that were the case. But yeah, Jeff, that is a lot of why there's new energy on this. And just anytime you bring in new standards, right? Anytime it's hey, new team slogan this year coming from a new voice, that inherently gives you a little bit of a boost. So we'll see. Let's go over the schedule before we get to North Alabama, because it's a pretty fun one. I wish we had a slightly better team, because we do have UAB on this bad boy. But we start off with North Alabama on the road before taking on Southern Illinois, the Salukis, for our first home game on Thursday on Labor Day weekend.
Red out.
Then we travel to Tennessee Tech. Nice long break to Tennessee Tech for our first conference game in Cookeville. I'm assuming it's their SoCon opener. And then we have VMI. So the first 4 games kind of set up nicely. We have a bye game, presumably a bye game against UAB. We're not having to pay to play them, Grant, right?
No, they're paying us. I was trying to effort that, but UAB wants a $50 fee for whatever in order to get that contract. So I'll still try to effort that contract, the game contract, see how much we're getting paid.
Are you serious? They're going to charge you a $50 admin fee?
Yeah, there you go. Admin
for
fee.
A freedom of information request?
Correct. Alabama and Auburn, they're easy. In fact, I'm still waiting on Auburn to answer back, but Alabama answered back pretty quickly, so I didn't have to. I have to obey at UAB.
Wait, whoa. Even an athletic department like Auburn is competent enough to give you a free copy of a Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting, especially in light of the recent departure of the UAB athletic department. Just wouldn't work there. Would not work there.
Do we need Patreon support to get the document from UAB?
Let me drive over to Andy Kennedy's house, and I'll get you an answer. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. The interim AD. All right, so we take on VMI, and then we go to UAB on October 3rd, which will be really fun. I mean, it's 2:30, going to be a fun game. I think they're probably going to be terrible, but they're in the American, so they should clobber us. Then we go to Chattanooga in our second. Our first 3 conference games are 2 tough ones. We're at Tennessee Tech, at UTC, with VMI in between, and then we host Mercer on October 17th before traveling to Furman. Wofford comes to us. Then we go to ETSU, so a lot of back and forth before wrapping up conference play November 14th against Western, which is our homecoming. Should be a fun game, especially by that point. If we have been able to win a few of our challenging games, Western should be middle of the pack as well. Should be a really fun competitive game. And then we travel to Auburn for our big payday November 21st, and that probably wraps up the season. But on the off chance that we did win enough games to be considered for an at-large berth, we'll be sitting there with our popcorn on Selection Sunday. But boys, thoughts on the schedule? I think it is pretty tough early on, but it balances out as we go. What do you guys think?
Yeah, of the first 3 games rolling into middle of September,
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited about the Tennessee Tech game. I talked about Tennessee Tech earlier, but just to see them in the conference and see their team, see their, haven't watched a ton of Tennessee Tech, right?
Never seen them.
Ever. So I do have some friends and colleagues that did go to Tennessee Tech, so it's been kind of fun to go back and forth with them now that they're seeing Samford on their schedule. But that's the game I'm excited about the most. First in-conference game, obviously, and it'll be an away game, back-to-back away games there in VMI. So,
and we may not be the most or the furthest west team now in the conference. Cookeville might beat us out.
No, it's pretty much direct north.
Okay,
Birmingham
so we're tied.
And just a little bit east.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we still are.
It's east of Nashville.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was northwest, but okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. But yeah, it's funny, Jeb.
Oh, wait.
Mike.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
No, never mind. Sorry. I was confusing myself. Sorry, go ahead.
What?
No.
Mike's dad went to Tennessee Tech. So he's going to have a little family conference rivalry, which is fun.
That's pretty good.
Definitely something they've probably never ever would have thought would happen.
If I had to pick a win, I mean, maybe we could sneak one out against North Alabama.
Yeah. Then, I mean, we're going to get to that in a minute. It's a winnable game. It is definitely a winnable game. Southern Illinois is less of a winnable game, but they are still not that great. But they do play in a tough conference. So it's kind of like playing Mississippi State, Like, they may not have a very good record, but they play in the SEC. So you like Minnesota, right? They play Mississippi State this year. They may lose, but I do like that worst case scenario, we're 0-3 rolling into VMI, which is not a good feeling, especially when you have UAB, Chat, and Mercer looming. I mean, this could be a season that, frankly, just the way it's set up early, could get off the rails quickly. I mean, you could not have won a game by the time you get to October. The VMI game is the must win.
Yeah, but
you just hope you get another.
I think you could be 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 would be solid. 2-2 would be solid going into UAB. Because after that, I mean, once you get into conference play, you could find 2 or 3 more wins if you don't get blown out. But there's no team this year except for possibly Mercer that is just world beaters. Now, Furman, maybe their quarterback turns out to be really good. Who knows, right? Like some of these cats. Like ETSU, Furman, somebody else brought in, a transfer quarterback who'd been to a big school before, and who knows how good they may be. And if they turned out to be amazing, that raises their ceiling exponentially. But until we see that, right now, looking at it on paper, if you can get 2 wins before UAB, you could definitely get 5 by the end of the season. But getting the first one's going to be tough.
First one's always the hardest.
Okay, so let's talk about North Alabama. So North Alabama, first season in the United Athletic Conference, joining Abilene Christian, Austin Peay, Central Arkansas, Eastern Kentucky, Little Rock, Tarleton State, UT Arlington, West Georgia, shout out, and West Florida. So we were joking before we started recording, Jeb, but the ACC of the FCS, from the middle of America in Texas all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. Although I guess West Florida might be on the Gulf. But close enough. Georgia at least touches the Atlantic. Florida touches the Atlantic. But a pretty solid conference. New kid on the block. Remember, we talked about them a couple of times, primarily in basketball. They were the coming together of a few different conferences a few years ago, part of which was the the ASUN. So a lot of the ASUN members who wanted to keep playing football joined the UAC as it transformed into a basketball only conference. Everybody knows our thoughts on that. So a pretty good conference. North Alabama, though, last year went 2-10. It's an interesting team, a little bit like ours. They have two transfers that could potentially be difference makers for them. One being a quarterback transfer, Banks Bowen, the other Jaden Perez, wide receiver, both coming from Oklahoma State, who was absolute dog water last season. But still, when you have talent of that caliber coming in to the FCS, there's this shot that they're legit, especially Jaden Perez, the wide receiver. He ran track at Oklahoma State. So if you're running track in the Big 12 and then you're going to play receiver in the UAC, I feel like he could be a beast. Who knows? They are returning their primary starting quarterback. I say that because he got hurt in the middle of the season last year and didn't come back. But Destin Wade is the quarterback that they have returning, presumably the starter, but maybe Banks Bowen. And then they're having to replace most of their rushers and receivers. They have a quarterback who's kind of like a Tim Tebow during the Chris Leak era, where he just comes in for a package or two every game, and goal line quarterback, first down quarterback, kind of stuff like that. He just runs, but he was like second or third in the team at rushing last year, so he did it quite a bit. But they're replacing their best or their leading running backs and then leading receivers. And then on the preseason conference list, most of the players, if they had any, were on defense. So kind of similar to Samford, returning. Most of the experience returning is on the defensive side of the ball. So going 2-10 last year with those notes in mind, I viewed it as a potential win, certainly a competitive game. I really hope it's not a situation like last year where we walk into West Georgia and get annihilated, or they came to us.
Do you remember what we talked about prior to that game where we just we could probably win that?
The first year. So what we talked about, Jeb, there's a few notes. One, we weren't sure how we were going to be, but we were taking a very optimistic tone. The one thing that we noted about West Georgia was the very clear evidence of athletes on the roster. If there's evidence on paper of athletes on the team, that's usually a pretty good sign at our level. So it wasn't totally shocking when all of a sudden the defense looked like they were playing at 100 miles an hour against our 10-mile-an-hour offense. But I'm pretty sure we were split on if we were going to win or lose, Jed. Pretty sure we went around and it was like 2-2, win or lose. But we were also just not wanting to look at the facts of our team.
We were devastated last year with that.
We were so young back then.
Yeah,
we were so early in this. We didn't know what we were doing. We're just gonna make stuff up. Hopefully, we're recording. Hopefully, Sam hits the record button. We'll say some stuff about West Georgia, and we'll be on. It'd be an easy win. We'll go into Baylor. We'll be fine. We'll be Gucci. I said, but no, we're not.
That's what the coaching staff. That was the coaching staff's take, and that was in their 12th year.
Oh my God! They almost took the open kickoff back for a touchdown. Maybe that's not a great sign that we may not have a chance in this one.
God, the Baylor game was atrocious. Oh my goodness!
We had a lead,
and the Baylor game was more exciting than any hopes.
And it was the most embarrassing way to score too. Like if you're Baylor, you're embarrassed, and if you're us, that's the only way to generate offense. You're embarrassed. Like it's a lose-lose.
So who threw that touchdown? That was a Jeopardy question.
Oh my gosh, that was a Jeopardy question. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Grant, you don't get to be host next year. You don't get to be. I'm going to host next year. You're going to have to be on the hot seat, or we'll let Mike since he won.
For those of you that are listening and haven't watched the Jeopardy episode this year, it was a lot better than last year.
Yeah, it wasn't as Grant made it a little easier.
Yeah, we had some guest on. I don't know if his name sounds familiar. Does a Beck Taylor sound familiar to anybody?
El Presidente.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I did laugh when you called him. Mr. President, how you doing? I don't know why that made me laugh.
Mr. President.
I don't know why.
Mr. President.
Hey, Mr. President, would you like to answer questions about our 1-11 football team? No, Grant, I will not. Thank you. Anyway, here's Hatch Attacked. First question.
But to answer your question, Jeb, we overinflated ourselves fairly inflated West Georgia, but estimated the true difference in the two teams. I hope I'm not doing the same here. I think North Alabama.
I think we were over optimistic about the entire team.
Oh yeah, year. I mean the problem is we love Crinton, so it's like he's the starting quarterback, he's our guy.
Yep.
And it just didn't work out.
Didn't quite. And
we were not going to anticipate. Right.
Yeah, I'm just glad we don't have to drive. Just glad we don't have to drive back to Carrollton because there's nothing in Carrollton.
Hey, there was a good little pub. I like Carrollton, Grant. Watch your mouth.
Hey, you're looking around and said, "Oh my gosh, am I in the right place? Are we sure this is Carrollton? Are we sure it's a real city?"
Hey, it's not West Alabama.
That's accurate. And Huntsville's the fastest growing city in America, so I mean, we should be good then.
Huntsville's a cool little town. I'm excited. But to your point, Jeb, I think they look better, but they were 2-10. So, but like their offensive line was big. Yeah, they got big D linemen. Nothing really stood out from that perspective.
Yeah, North Alabama's really good. We're gonna lose by a lot. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's called hedging.
Hey, we should just stay we're not very good at predictions, so we should stay away from predictions. We should just report the facts.
Well, there's no data.
People their athletic department. That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, I was talking about UNA sources. They think they're going to win a national championship. So even if we lose, I think we're in a good.
You're joking, right?
Hey, I'm just making sure. We're playing a really good team on Saturday. Just making sure we come out and play our hardest. They're really going to be really, really good. They think they're going to win it all. So, if Samford loses, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world.
The guy you talked to said they're going to win the national championship.
I am. I'm doing Jeb's bit that we think they're the best.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was like, no way. No way. That would have been wild. You did get me, but I'm the most easily gettable person.
1, 2. Okay, they lost a few one-score games, so it's not that bad.
No, yeah. When you look at their so when you look at their schedule, it's 2-10 is the official record, but they lost a couple of one overtime game and then a few one possession games. So they could have easily been 500, and they were definitely playing better down the stretch.
Yeah, they lost to Illinois State in double overtime. So
they're replacing, and they only lost to West Georgia by 7, I think.
Yep.
But they are replacing most of that team, at least from a production standpoint. So again, hard to say exactly what is on the table. They should have the edge, but we'll see. I mean, maybe our guys come out playing hot. There's not really any pressure on our guys. Not really any pressure on North Alabama, other than the fact that it's the first game at home. But I like starting on the road. It's just you and the guys, lock in, let's go.
And you did talk about their defense, most preseason players in the conference of the 8-team conference on that defense. So we'll see how Samford's a revamped quote offensive line can kind of shape out again. We haven't seen a depth chart yet. Hopefully we see that before the game Saturday. So we'll see.
And one last thing to keep in mind as we are perusing North Alabama's roster, if they do end up being good, that should bode well for our future prospects because they have a ton of local Alabama talent. A ton. Now, if they end up being terrible, don't take the opposite of what I just said. But if they do look good, have hope. Have hope. Anything else, boys, before we get to a little state of the Bulldogs?
Just glad you didn't ask for a score prediction because I have no answer.
Nah, we're not doing that this year. We are so out on score predictions.
I was just going to say, I reminded myself last time we played Tennessee Tech, we lost 7-27 or 24.
Yeah, something like that.
That was 2 years ago?
7-27, yeah. In 2024, yeah.
Yeah. The last game of the season.
At home.
Or no, we played UT Martin last game of the season that year.
Western Carolina.
Try again, Sam. Try again.
Grant, put that on the Jeopardy next year.
Who was our last game in 2024?
4 years ago.
Sam said this about that team. What did he say, and who do we play?
As I'm looking at our notes, I forgot about our little basketball pickup. So let's start there, boys. State of the Bulldogs. We have soccer going on, volleyball about to tip off. But before we get to that, little basketball portal edition. Grant, what happened?
Go Big Red.
That's right. Your dad.
Go Big Red. So if you've seen anything around college sports, you know that you just local judges, a whole bunch of things going on. We don't need to get into. You can go look it up on your own time. There's a guy who played at Ole Miss last year. He was with the Browns. I got released, and I was going to go play for LSU again. Lane Kiffin doing Lane Kiffin things. That's not shocking. Anyway, so
football's dead. Exactly.
So the NCAA decided over the summer to have going forward eligibility. You get 5 years to play 5 seasons. So that eliminates redshirts, eliminates everything. But they didn't want a grandfather in the 2022 class. They wanted to just say, hey, everyone going forward, you get 5 years to play. Sorry, 22 class, you're screwed. Anyway, there's been a whole thing going on of those athletes suing, getting injunctions in order to play, and hey, if you're not going to do going forward, why not grandfather us? And we literally just played last year. So anyway, that's a bunch of going on. College basketball is kind of in uproar, but Samford, who I thought was out of roster spots, but turns out they were out of scholarships, but they did have a roster spot available, so they had to go fundraise for this spot. So they get Cooper Norred, a fifth-year guy out of Cornell, who led Cornell in points last year, 18 points per game, led the Ivy in three-pointers made per game at 80 over a season. I forgot how many made per game anyway, but
which is crazy.
That is wild. So, and he dropped 27 against us when Cornell came to Samford, as Jeb said, go Big Red. So Samford has added Cooper to their roster. He's official on the Samford website, so they've got the money to pay him to get to come to Samford. Don't really know how that worked out. Hopefully before the season we can talk to Lenny, but hey, how'd this kind of work out? And so anyway, Samford adds another guard to the rotation, 6'2", a little bit bigger, but again, that number is kind of eye-popping, 18 points per game. Like I said, he played 27 games, was the double figures in 26 of them. Again, the 20 whatever points he had against us. So he got his 5th year through an injunction through a court in California. There's like 50 players, including Larry, a former Samford player. He was also named on that injunction, so he got into the 5th year. So he's back in the portal. So anyway, all that to say, Samford added another guard to the rotation to average 18 points per game, and we'll see what the starting lineup will look like. It's pretty cool adding probably a projected starter 5 days before class started. So he should have gotten to campus this weekend, and Samford comes back to practice on Monday as we're recording this Sunday. So he will be at Samford's practice. So they added another player because of a court ruling.
The exciting whites will be popping off. Very excited, Grant. On that note, talk to us about
percentage at 39%.
It's crazy, dude. I don't know how he was available, and I don't know how Samford got him.
He was clearly trying to transfer. He entered the portal last year, didn't transfer.
Yeah,
right.
And played.
But how did we get him?
Dude, what? I mean, it's Samford. Why would you know?
I mean, sure, but Birmingham is not Ithaca, New York. It just feels very
it's
random.
a heck of a lot warmer than Ithaca.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure compliance didn't even look at his transcript, but Cordell, he's fine. Send him in. Let's go.
No, dude. Knowing compliance, they're probably like, oh, these credits they don't transfer. You're gonna have to retake English,
Spanish. Yeah, you got to retake
the Ivy League
6 times.
The Ivy is that a group of accredited schools?
Yeah, Lenny called him like, what? There is no freaking way you're doing this to me. Send him on through. Let's go.
No, it's awesome. So, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Is this Lenny's best ad?
As far as opportunity, as capitalizing on the opportunity, for sure. Just because of how late it is and how, I don't know, it just kind of fell nicely together.
Yeah, because the circumstances kind of falling into your lap. I mean, Jaden Booth obviously transferred, but I mean, Cooper, you didn't expect this to happen. Again, there's going into this when the season starts, but a whole rotation, guard rotation, Ty Davis, Isaiah Campbell Finch, Brandon Fusel transfer from NFL. Again, a lot of different ways that Lenny can kind of go at this. Yeah, I think Ty's going to be really good. Ty's going to be really good in this system. You really did need another guard, too, because Dejan Humphrey didn't get his waiver approved for some random reason, so he's not coming back to school officially. He tore his Achilles.
That sucks.
As you remember,
I didn't realize
games,
that didn't happen.
So he didn't get his waiver, so they kind of needed a spot. So funny enough, they got enough money to fundraise for
Man, how does a guy like that not get his waiver? And we got Daquan Smith coming from the NFL back to college. Like, that's just, it's so annoying.
I don't know.
Anyway, what's not annoying is soccer is on pace for a historic season. Beginning the season tying top 5 Notre Dame. Grant, talk to us about our Lady Bulldogs.
Yeah, Sam, as you mentioned, soccer is off to a great start. They drew against top 5 Notre Dame. Peyton Hull, Samford goalkeeper, with 5 or 6 saves in that one. She's from South Bend, Indiana, so kind of cool for her to go up there and kind of have that kind of performance.
Oh, that is cool.
Exactly. They returned around and beat Georgia State 1-0 this afternoon as we're recording. We got a late goal, the 80th minute against South Alabama to draw 1-1. We got Jacksonville State up next with Bama looming next weekend. Before the game today against South Alabama, Samford had opened with 3 clean sheets. So 3 games with no goals allowed. They gave up 1 against South Alabama. Again, big week coming up with Jack State, and then the Tide rolling into town on Sunday.
That's right. And Jet, volleyball tipping off this week. Tell us about it.
Yep. Volleyball picked 6th in the preseason conference poll. Ali Cortez was named preseason all-conference player. And then season tips off against Alabama on Friday, like you said. Sam.
Pretty bold start.
Yeah.
Starting off with Bama.
With Bama.
It's tough. That's tough. Best of luck to the volleyball team. Very excited about soccer. Very excited about football. Boys, football is here. We'll be at the game on Saturday. Everybody make the drive up if they can. But with that, the state of the Bulldogs is out. And let's start off the Gross era with a dub, boys. Go Dogs.